Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Bolling. Welcome to Cashin In. Our Cashin In crew this week: Wayne Rogers, Jonathan Honig, Katie Pavlich, and Juan Williams. Welcome, everybody. Australian Chris Lane was here in Oklahoma to have fun while playing baseball at college. They allegedly gunned him down for fun. Now, some Australians are calling to boycott tourism to America. And given the number of violent crimes is on the rise in the U.S., Wayne, you say this is a very, very credible, real threat to our economy.
Oh, yes, Eric. I mean, you've got, for example, in the 10 most dangerous cities in the United States, you have poverty on the rise, you have unemployment on the rise, and you have crime on the rise. Now, when you have crime on the rise, you've got to do something to counter that. So the police tactics and things that the police have to do to bring the order back to it has to increase. Now, not at the sacrifice of personal rights, but it has to increase in some way. One of the things, for example, Juan, who's on the show today, said the other day, which I think is very key, that the civil rights workers in this country, I'm talking about the Al Sharptons and those kind of crazy people, have got to take responsibility to go into these neighborhoods and lead these neighborhoods, say something positive, not be negative all the time. And I think, Juan, you did a great job on that. I saw that, and I think that's a terrific idea, and that's what has to take place.
Sure, Juan, go ahead. You can respond to Wayne there. And by the way, we also know that Detroit, 41% poverty rate, Oakland, 21%, St. Louis, 27%. The 10 most dangerous cities in the country happen to have of the highest, most elevated poverty numbers in the country.
Yeah, poverty, unemployment, failure, drops out from school, and guess what? A high percentage of minorities. You know, I mean, it hurts my heart. But Wayne, this is what you need. You need leadership that will come in and speak to kids who are not advancing, who are not making any progress, and instead get involved with gang activity, get involved with violence. This is how they're going to prove that there's somebody in this world. You know, that's a losing prescription. You got to believe in education. You got to believe in a job and building a resume. I mean, I don't think that this is a mystery if you want to make it in America.
Jonathan, there's a
a job would agree it, Eric. Even maybe a minimum wage job that would keep a young person out of trouble and focused on producing on the future. I mean, there's no question, the gang has already pointed out. I mean, there's less likely to be this type of violent crime in a stronger economy. Young people, and of course we've got a youth unemployment rate in this country of north of 18%. Young people are less likely to see a future where they can achieve their goals and succeed. And I tell you, it's not just here at home, Eric. I mean, look at Spain, look at Greece, terrible economies, youth unemployment above 50%, and a massive spike in not only suicide, but violent crime as well.
Let's keep it at home right here. Katie, one of the theories on economic theory is called the broken window theory, meaning if you see broken windows in the area, crime is actually going to get elevated. If you fix the broken windows, there's a perception of it's safer, it's cleaner, businesses come back, jobs come back.
We've seen this in New York City. We've seen this in Washington, D.C. When you take an area and you turn it into a place that has business, that has people employed, that has those jobs that can get young people into the workplace and keep them busy, it's very important. But going back to the arguments that Juan has been making all week about the family and these communities, the statistics are there. When these families' homes are broken, kids who come from single-parent homes are more likely to live in poverty. They're more likely to commit crimes, and that in return has an impact on our cities, it has an impact on our prison systems, and it costs us a lot of money both in lives and in dollars.
So go ahead, Juan. If you apply it to this this horrific killing that happened in Oklahoma, outside of Oklahoma City, where three young people shot someone for fun, how does that apply here?
Well, look, they're 50. These are teenagers, and in most cases, you know, no dad around, right? Or parents who are not involved. I saw one father was in the courtroom and said, "Oh, my son couldn't have done it." Hey, wake up, dude. Come on. What we've got here are kids who are online. They're spewing all kinds of hateful messages. They're not. There's no structure around them. I don't see that this is so much a mystery. These kids needed some direction, so they're bored and they think it's okay to track somebody like an animal and kill them.
Yeah,
Eric, it's pretty sick.
Very important word Juan just used there. They were bored. Well, they were bored because they weren't working.
Yeah, that's true. Listen, you've got to get them involved too. I don't care. You know, it could be community work. You could do anything. It requires some kind of leadership and some kind of responsibility. If the parents are absent, We all know it's a parental problem. We all know the destruction of the family causes this. We know that. Now, in the substitute of that, if the family is not going to be around, then you've got to have some kind of a leadership in that community that's going to take that. You can't have people, as I said, like Jesse Jackson going out and saying things like he says and not take some responsibility. He will not be responsible.
And Eric,
that's the problem.
And Eric, I mean, I think to that end, I mean, crime isn't so much a real threat to the economy. I think it's a byproduct of the economy. I mean, we look at these horrific crimes, this one in particular, and we say this is completely irrational. It's disgusting, and it is. And I think it happens in less strong economies where people, especially young people, don't see a future where they can actually succeed, produce, and achieve their goals.
Jonathan, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I agree with you on so many things, mostly constitutional things, but I'm not sure crime is a byproduct of a bad economy. As Katie pointed out, Rudy Giuliani came in here. He cleaned up Times Square. The crime went down when he did that. The economy got better. Crime went down. Katie, which is it? Which tail? Is it the dog chasing its tail? Which one's a dog?
I think it goes hand in hand. I think when you have a bad economy, people obviously aren't employed, and therefore they're busy doing other things than working. But when you have a good, I think you have to bolster areas so that people can actually come in and work. If you don't clean up the areas, even in a good economy, people aren't going to want to be there. But the bottom line in this case, since we are talking about teenagers here, we're not talking about adults, we're talking about teenagers under the age of 18, it starts at home. You can revamp areas in New York City all that you want to. You can have leaders from the civil rights era come in and talk to young people, but if you don't have parents at home, one of the young men who was charged with the murder in this case, his mother is in prison, and the DA for Duncan County said that these kids are basically raising themselves.
Juan, just address this very. Hold on, just let me get to Juan very quickly. Juan, the Reverend Al Sharptons of the world, Jesse Jackson, they all take victory laps when things seem to be going well in the economy. How about this? Shouldn't they be weighing in on this type of crime?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to me, they should be saying, you know what, this is not the way to go. They should be out in front. They shouldn't be reacting defensively like, oh, somebody wants us to say something about this. You know, what I say, what you say, forget. They should understand that if they want credibility on larger issues with mainstream America, they've got to speak out about this. And they should be speaking to these kids in real terms about, here's how you can be a success in this country. Here's how you can move ahead. And they shouldn't be getting into this alternative economy of drugs.
Look at all the disincentives we put for young people like this to actually get hired, whether it's higher minimum wage, whether it's more regulations in terms of being able to hire young people, get them working. We make it very hard to actually give these young people the opportunity that would keep them out of trouble.
We could go on and on, but we have a little bit more on this a little later in the show. It's fantastic. Guys, stick around.